My wife came home furious. Why isn't the card working? Mom didn't get your paycheck. I just looked at her and said, interesting. That card issue was only the first domino, and the next surprise was about to strike us both. The front door slammed open at 5:47 p.m. on a Friday, hitting the wall so hard the framed photo of our wedding day rattled. Anna burst through, her face twisted with rage in a way I'd never seen before. Not angry at traffic rage, not frustrated with work rage, something deeper, uglier. Why isn't the card working? She was breathless, like she'd run up all 4 flights of stairs instead of taking the elevator. Mom tried to get your paycheck and the ATM says the card is blocked. I looked up from my laptop, a 6-year-old Dell I'd bought used on Craigslist because we couldn't afford a new one, and kept my voice perfectly level. Interesting. That one word seemed to stop time. Anna's eyes widened. Her mouth opened and closed twice before sound came out. Interesting? That's all you have to say? Mom's been waiting at the Chase Bank on Sheridan for over an hour. The line was long and she's been calling me every 10 minutes. I took a slow sip of the cheap instant coffee I'd been drinking, the kind that came in a jar from Aldi, not the premium beans Anna and her mother Gloria drank every morning. Set the mug down carefully on a coaster. That does sound frustrating for her, I said. For 4 years, this had been our routine. Every single Friday at noon, Gloria Mitchell, my mother-in-law, 56 years old, perpetually dressed like she was heading to brunch at a country club, would take my salary card and withdraw almost everything from my paycheck. Sometimes she'd leave me $200, sometimes $150. Once, memorably, $87. New shoes for herself, spa treatments at that place in Lincoln Square, dinners with her friends at restaurants I'd never been able to afford, a new purse, another new purse, clothes, more shoes. Meanwhile, I wore the same 3 work shirts on rotation, the collars fraying, the same 2 pairs of pants, shoes I'd resoled twice at a cobbler because buying new ones wasn't in the budget. My budget, anyway. Where is it? Anna demanded, her voice climbing. Where's the card? I got a new one. She stared at me like I'd just announced I was joining the circus. What? I was promoted 3 weeks ago. Key account manager. 30% raise. HR issued me a new salary card. Company policy for management positions. I kept my tone conversational, professional, the same tone I used in client meetings. It's linked to a different account, just for me. Anna stood frozen in the doorway, her designer bag, Michael Kors, $400, purchased last month with my previous paycheck, sliding off her shoulder. You can't do that. Actually, I can. It's my salary. We're a family. Her voice cracked on the word family in a way that would have been touching if I didn't know better. Money gets shared in a family. You can't just keep it all to yourself. That's selfish. I stood up slowly, closing my laptop. Really? Because your salary has never been shared. You spend it however you want. New clothes, makeup, that yoga studio membership you've used twice. But mine? Your mother takes it all. Mom takes care of us. Anna's face flushed red, splotchy. She cooks, she cleans, she helps with Ethan. So do I cut in. I work full-time, 47 hours a week. I help with the house. I do most of the laundry, actually. I take care of our son. I pick him up from daycare 4 days a week. But somehow, only my money counts as family money. Anna's jaw clenched. Give me the card. Now. No. That simple word hung in the air between us like a grenade with the pin pulled. She stepped closer, and I could see something dangerous flickering in her eyes. Something I'd seen before but always rationalized away. You've forgotten your place in this family. Give me the card or what? I asked quietly. She grabbed my shirt collar with both hands, yanking me toward her. The button popped off, bouncing across the hardwood floor. The shirt I'd been wearing for 3 years, the one I'd carefully hand-washed to make it last. I pulled away, harder than I meant to. She stumbled backward. Don't touch me, Anna. Not ever again. Something in my voice, maybe the flatness, maybe the finality, made her freeze. For 5 seconds, we just stared at each other across our living room. The living room in the apartment her mother had found for us. The apartment whose rent I paid entirely from my salary, while Anna's income went to personal expenses. Then she turned and stormed out, slamming the door so hard the wedding photo finally fell off the wall. The glass cracked in a spiderweb pattern across our smiling faces. I picked it up, looked at the younger version of myself, grinning stupidly in that rented tuxedo, and set it face down on the bookshelf. Then I sat back down at my laptop and continued the research I'd been doing for the past week. It had started 23 days ago with a conversation I'd overheard by accident. I'd come home early from work, a client meeting had been canceled, and found Anna and Gloria in our kitchen, drinking wine at 2 in the afternoon. Anna's home office door had been closed, which usually meant she was working, but apparently not that day. I'd stood in the hallway taking off my shoes when Gloria's voice carried through. Just need to be firm with him. Men like David need to understand their role. Provider. That's it. You make the decisions, I help guide you, and he funds it. It's the natural order. Anna had laughed. He's been complaining about wanting a new laptop, like he needs needs one. The one he has works fine. Of course it does. That's just wasteful thinking. Men always want to waste money on toys. Should I give him more than $150 this week? He mentioned needing new work shoes. Those shoes are fine. He's being dramatic. Give him $120. That'll teach him to be grateful for what he has. I'd stood there in the hallway for a full minute, my heart doing something strange in my chest. Then I'd quietly put my shoes back on and left. Went to a coffee shop. Sat there until my normal arrival time. That night, I'd started paying attention. Really paying attention. The pattern was easy to see once I looked for it. My salary, $4,800 monthly after taxes, before the promotion. Deposited every other Friday. Gloria's Friday withdrawal, $2,100 to $300 each paycheck. Rent, $1,800 paid from my account. Utilities, $250 paid from my account. Groceries, $500 paid from my account. What was left for me? Whatever Gloria decided. Anna's salary from her graphic design job at the marketing firm, $3,200 monthly after taxes. What Anna spent on household expenses, $0. I'd pulled 4 years of bank statements, built a spreadsheet. The numbers were damning. Total I'd contributed to household expenses, $167,000. Total Anna had contributed $0. Total Gloria had taken $73,000. And that was just my salary. It didn't count the wedding costs I'd paid, the hospital bills when Ethan was born, the new car Anna needed that I'd co-signed for. I'd also started noticing other things. Gloria always had cash. Lots of it. She'd pull out rolls of 20s at restaurants, at stores, paying for things while claiming she was broke and needed my paycheck to survive. She'd mentioned once, casually, like it was nothing, that she collected a widow's pension from when her husband died. Said it was only $800 a month, but it helped. Except I'd met Gloria's ex-husband last year at a Shell station on Western Avenue. James Mitchell, very much alive, pumping gas into a Ford F-150. We'd made eye contact. He'd looked uncomfortable and driven away quickly. I hadn't thought much about it at the time. Figured they were divorced and he was embarrassed. But now I started digging. For 3 weeks I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone meticulous, patient, calculating. I created a new email address Gloria and Anna didn't know about. Started screenshotting everything. Bank statements, text messages, social media posts. I discovered Gloria was running a side business selling homemade alcohol. Posted ads in local Facebook groups under a pseudonym. Artisanal vodka and small batch wine delivered to your door. Cash only. No receipts. I found her unemployment benefit statements in the recycling bin. She'd thrown them away, but I retrieved them, smoothed them out, scanned them. She'd been collecting unemployment for 8 months, claiming she was actively seeking work. She wasn't seeking work. She was selling illegal alcohol and taking my money. Then I found Anna's freelance income. She'd been doing graphic design on the side, Fiverr, Upwork. Direct clients she'd found through Instagram, making an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Never reported a dollar of it. I contacted a lawyer, not for divorce, not yet, just for consultation. Marcus Webb, 47 years old, 22 years practicing family law in Chicago. Mr. Richardson, he said during our first meeting at a Starbucks in Lakeview, what you're describing is financial abuse. It's not always recognized as such, but that's what this is. Your wife and her mother have systematically controlled your income while hiding their own. Can I protect myself? Absolutely. First, get that new bank account, new card, don't tell them. Second, document everything. Third, he'd leaned forward. Are you sure about the pension fraud? Because if Gloria Mitchell is collecting survivor benefits while her ex-husband is alive, that's federal fraud. That's serious. How do I verify it? Public records. Death certificates are public information. If there's no death certificate, she's committing fraud. I'd spent $75 on public record searches. James Mitchell, born April 12, 1967. No death certificate. Very much alive. Registered voter. Active driver's license. Gloria was committing pension fraud. Had been for at least 6 years, based on the statements I found. Document everything, Marcus had said. But David, be careful. When people are cornered, they can be dangerous, especially when money's involved. I'd taken his advice. Created a cloud backup of all evidence. Sent copies to my work email, to Marcus, to a trusted friend. Then I'd waited for my promotion to finalize and my new bank card to arrive. After Anna stormed out that Friday, I knew I had maybe 24 hours before things escalated. I was right. That evening at 7:43 p.m., Gloria showed up with 2 women I'd never met. Her friends, apparently. Witnesses. The building's buzzer rang and I let them up because refusing would only delay the inevitable. Gloria swept into the apartment like she owned it, followed by 2 women in their 50s wearing expensive workout gear and matching expressions of disapproval. We're here to settle this family matter, Gloria announced, positioning herself in the center of our living room like she was holding court. What family matter? I stayed seated on the couch, my laptop open in front of me. You're hiding your raise from us, Anna said from the doorway. She'd been crying. Her mascara was smudged. That's deceit. That's betrayal of family trust. I looked at at the three women arranged in front of me like a firing squad, closed my laptop slowly. Deceit. I let the word hang there. Interesting choice. Don't get smart, Gloria snapped. Anna told me you got a 30% raise 3 weeks ago and never mentioned it. That money belongs to this family. Does it? I stood up. Anna, tell your mother about your Upwork account. Anna's face went pale. I don't know what. The one where you've made $18,000 in the past year doing freelance design work. The income you've never reported to the IRS. I pulled my phone out. I have screenshots, invoices from clients, messages discussing payment. That's different. How is it different? I turned to Gloria. And you, tell your friends about the survivor's pension you collect. The one you get because your ex-husband is supposedly deceased. Dead silence. The two friends exchanged glances. Gloria's face drained of color, but her voice stayed steady. I don't know what you're talking about. James Mitchell, your ex-husband, born April 12, 1967, very much alive. No death certificate on file in Illinois, Indiana, or Wisconsin. Yet you've been collecting a monthly pension of $100 for the past 6 years, claiming widowhood. One of the friends, blonde, expensive highlights, took a step back. Gloria, we should also, I continued, pulling up my phone, the homemade alcohol business. Galina's Artisan Spirits on Facebook Marketplace. That's you, isn't it? Cash sales, no licenses, no permits, all while collecting unemployment benefits. The friends were edging toward the door now. Gloria's face had gone from pale to red. That's slander. You can't prove. I have proof. I held up my phone. Bank records showing your pension deposits. Screenshots of your ads with your phone number. Unemployment statements I pulled from the recycling. Messages from customers. Everything documented and backed up in 3 locations. The friends left without saying goodbye, practically running for the elevator. Gloria's hands were shaking. If you report me, I won't, unless you force me to. I sat back down. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop taking my paychecks. Both of you are going to stop expecting me to fund your lifestyles while hiding your own income. And you're going to leave me alone about my finances. And if we don't, Anna's voice was small, then I send everything to the IRS and the Social Security Administration. Gloria faces federal fraud charges. You face tax evasion charges. Both of you are looking at prison time and massive fines. Gloria's eyes filled with something between hate and fear. You wouldn't dare. Try me. She left without another word, Anna trailing behind her. I sat in the silent apartment, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my temples. The next evening, Saturday at 6:15 p.m., there was a loud, official knock at the door. Not the casual tap of a neighbor or delivery person, the kind of knock that meant authority. I opened it to find 3 people in business attire holding official-looking folders. David Richardson, the man in front, early 50s, gray suit, ID badge on a lanyard, extended his hand. I'm Agent Thomas Morrison from the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. This is Agent Sarah Chen from the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General, and Detective Robert Walsh from the Chicago Police Department's Economic Crimes Unit. My stomach dropped. Can I help you? We're looking for Gloria Mitchell and Anna Richardson. Are they here? No. What's this about? Agent Chen, 40-something, sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression, checked her folder. Verification of income and illegal receipt of survivor benefits. We also have questions about unreported income from both Ms. Mitchell and Ms. Richardson. Anna appeared in the hallway behind me, her face going white. What's going on? Ms. Richardson? Detective Walsh, 60 years old, 28 years with CPD according to the badge he showed, stepped forward. We need to speak with you and your mother about several matters. Is Gloria Mitchell at this location? She's at her apartment. About what matters? Tax fraud and benefits fraud, Agent Morrison said flatly. We received a complaint filed Tuesday regarding both of you. My mind raced. I didn't file anything. Agent Chen smiled slightly. We know. The complaint was filed by James Mitchell, Ms. Mitchell's ex-husband. He discovered he was listed as deceased in Social Security Administration records when he tried to apply for early retirement benefits last week. The system flagged a conflict. Anna stumbled backward. My father's alive? Very alive, Detective Walsh said, and very angry that his ex-wife has been collecting widow's benefits for 6 years while he's been working construction in Milwaukee. When we started investigating, we found a lot more. Unreported alcohol sales, unemployment fraud, and Ms. Richardson, we found evidence of substantial unreported freelance income. Can we come in? Agent Morrison asked, but it wasn't really a question. They spent the next 90 minutes in our apartment, set up at our dining table with laptops and folders, asked to see Anna's computer. She tried to refuse, but Detective Walsh explained they had a warrant for her electronic devices. I sat on the couch watching this unfold like a spectator at my own life's implosion. Agent Chen pulled up documents on her laptop and turned it toward Anna. Ms. Richardson, these are records from Fiverr, Upwork, and direct payments to your PayPal account. Over an 18-month period, you received $31,742 in freelance That's income. You reported exactly $0 of it on your tax returns. Anna's hands were shaking. I didn't know I had to. You're a 32-year-old college-educated adult working in a professional field, Agent Morrison cut in. We find that claim implausible. Preliminary calculations show you owe approximately $9,400 in back taxes, plus penalties and interest. Final amount will be determined after full audit. Your mother's situation is more severe, Agent Chen continued. She's been receiving $1,900 monthly in survivor benefits since 2018. That's $79,200 in fraudulent payments. She also collected $14,400 in unemployment benefits while operating an unlicensed alcohol sales business, generating approximately $32,000 annually. The numbers kept piling up, each one making Anna look smaller, more collapsed. Combined, your mother is looking at federal fraud charges, state charges for operating an illegal business, and unemployment fraud charges, Detective Walsh said. The benefits fraud alone carries up to 5 years federal prison time and mandatory repayment of all benefits received, plus fines up to $250,000. Anna started crying. Real tears this time, not manipulative ones. She said she needed the money. She said my father left her with nothing. Your father paid alimony for 3 years after their divorce, Agent Chen said, checking her notes. Per the divorce decree, he fulfilled all obligations. Ms. Mitchell was employed at the time and continued working for 2 years after the divorce. She voluntarily left her job, filed for unemployment, and shortly after began claiming survivor benefits. They asked Anna to come with them for formal questioning. She called a lawyer, someone Gloria had recommended, ironically, gathered her purse and phone with shaking hands. At the door, she turned to me. Did you know about my father? I saw him at a gas station last year. Didn't put it together until recently. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Or would you have thought I was trying to cause trouble with your mother? She didn't answer, just left with the agents and detective, her shoulders hunched like she was trying to disappear into herself. I stood in the suddenly silent apartment, my heart still racing. My phone buzzed. Marcus Webb, my lawyer, just saw the news about Anna and Gloria Mitchell arrests. You okay? I typed back. I didn't file the complaint. I know. James Mitchell's attorney contacted me this morning. He's pursuing his own fraud case. Sometimes karma doesn't need your help. I sat down hard on the couch. I'd been ready to file, had all the documentation prepared, was 3 days away from sending everything to the authorities. But James Mitchell, a man I'd met once for 30 seconds at a gas station, had gotten there first, had discovered his own widow was collecting benefits in his name, and blown the whole thing open. The next 72 hours were a blur. Gloria was arrested Sunday morning at her apartment. The police found extensive records of her alcohol operation, customer lists, supply invoices, cash logs she'd kept for her own tracking, all of it admissible evidence. Her attorney, a public defender named Rachel Torres, 51 years old, 16 years in the Cook County system, called me Monday afternoon. Mr. Richardson, I'm representing Gloria Mitchell. She's claiming you coerced her into this business relationship, that you demanded she take your paychecks as payment for childcare services she provided. I almost laughed. I have 4 years of bank records showing systematic withdrawal of my salary with no services rendered. I have text messages from Anna and Gloria discussing how much of my paycheck to allow me to keep. I have documentation of Gloria's separate income streams. I have witnesses who can testify to the actual child care arrangements. Ethan is in daycare 40 hours a week. Gloria watches him maybe 6 hours a month. Silence on the other end. Then, would you be willing to provide testimony? Yes, even though it might hurt your wife's case? My wife made her choices. So did her mother. I'm just telling the truth. Rachel sighed. Understood. We'll be in touch. Anna came home Tuesday night. She'd spent 2 nights at Gloria's apartment, but Gloria was in custody pending bail hearing. Anna looked exhausted, defeated. They're charging me with 3 counts of tax evasion, she said, standing in the doorway like she wasn't sure if she was allowed in. My lawyer says I'm looking at fines, possible jail time, and I'll have to repay everything with interest. I'm sorry. Are you? She looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. You seemed pretty calm when they took me away. I didn't cause this, Anna. Your mother committed fraud. You hid income. Those were your choices. You could have warned me, could have told me to stop before it got this bad. Would you have listened, or would you have accused me of trying to control you? She didn't answer, just walked to the bedroom and closed the door. The divorce papers arrived 3 weeks later, not from me, from Anna. She was filing first, her attorney claiming irreconcilable differences and requesting full custody of Ethan. The petition painted me as financially controlling and emotionally abusive. I called Marcus Webb immediately. They're trying to control the narrative, he said. But David, you have documentation of everything. Financial abuse goes both ways. What they did to you was textbook, and the criminal charges against both of them severely damage their credibility. What about Ethan? We'll fight for joint custody. You're a good father. You've been his primary caregiver for 4 days a week. We have documentation of that too. The custody battle was brutal. Anna's lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, as someone who'd set up his wife and mother-in-law for arrest, until James Mitchell testified. He showed up to the custody hearing. I hadn't asked him to, didn't even know he was coming. Gray-haired, work-worn hands, wearing a suit that looked rented. "Your Honor," he said, when Anna's lawyer tried to claim I'd orchestrated everything. "I filed the complaint against my ex-wife. I discovered she'd been declaring me deceased and collecting benefits. That's fraud, pure and simple. This young man had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know he existed until the investigation started." He looked at Anna. "I'm sorry you got caught up in this, but your mother made choices, bad choices, and you made your own choices about hiding income. That's not his fault." The judge, Sandra Morrison, 58 years old, 23 years on the bench, looked at me over her glasses. "Mr. Richardson, did you file any complaints against your wife or mother-in-law?" "No, Your Honor. I'd gathered documentation in case I needed to protect myself, but I never filed anything. And yet you allowed this investigation to proceed?" "I cooperated with lawful authorities, Your Honor. That's my obligation as a citizen." She nodded slowly. "Joint custody, 50-50 split. Mr. Richardson, you'll maintain the marital apartment. Ms. Richardson will need to find alternative housing given the criminal proceedings." Next case. Gloria pled guilty to all charges 6 months later, facing the reality that trial would only make things worse. She got 2 years in federal prison for benefits fraud, 18 months for unemployment fraud running concurrent, and was ordered to repay $79,200 to Social Security plus $67,000 in fines and penalties. She'd be 60 when she got out, her pension forever gone, her reputation destroyed. Anna took a plea deal for the tax evasion. No jail time but 3 years probation, $15,000 in back taxes and penalties, and mandatory financial counseling. The divorce finalized 8 months after those agents knocked on my door. I got the apartment, joint custody of Ethan, no alimony owed in either direction. The judge ruled that given Anna's hidden income, the financial situation was more equitable than it appeared. Last month, I ran into James Mitchell at the same Shell station where I'd first seen him. He was pumping gas again, same Ford F-150, but this time he didn't drive away. "David, right?" He offered his hand. "Mr. Mitchell." "James, please." He smiled, tired but genuine. "I heard about the divorce. I'm sorry." "Don't be. It needed to happen. I didn't mean to blow up your marriage. I was just trying to claim my own benefits and found out I was supposedly dead. I was angry." "You did me a favor," I said. "I'd been gathering evidence but couldn't quite bring myself to file. You did what I should have done months earlier." He nodded. "Gloria always was good at manipulating people. She convinced me I was the problem in our marriage for years. Took me a decade after the divorce to realize it wasn't me." "How's Anna?" I couldn't help asking. "Haven't talked to her in a year. She blamed me for everything, naturally. But I hear she's working at a legitimate job now, reporting her income. Maybe learn something." We stood there in the gas station parking lot as the sun set over Chicago. Two men whose lives had intersected in the strangest way. "David," James said, as he got back in his truck, "you're a good father, I can tell. Don't let what happened make you think you did anything wrong. You protected yourself. That's not selfish. That's survival."